Tyger, Tyger, burning bright, in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful symmetry? In what distant deeps or skies burned the fire of thine eyes? On what wings dare he aspire? What the hand dare seize the fire? And what shoulders and what art could twist the sinews of thy heart? And when thy heart began to beat, what dread hand and what dread feet? What the hammer, what the chain? In what furnace was thy brain? What the anvil, what dread grasp dare its deadly terrors clasp? When the stars threw down their spears and watered heaven with their tears, did he smile his work to see? Did he who made the lamb make thee? Tyger, Tyger, burning bright, in the forests of the night, what immortal hand or eye dare frame thy fearful symmetry? This is one of these poems that started as a literary creation, but has ended up being so well known that has become a piece of art cherished by both the academic world and the pop culture in the same way. The strength of its lines is so powerful that can make the reader feel the fear described along the poem. The poet was so clever that he simplified the concept of the tiger to its most abstract representation possible, the geometric lines that cover all of its body, and more concretely, the ones on its head, as a symbol of the fear embodied in the whole creature. Have you seen the Japanese kanjis? The whole idea of the kanji is very interesting because they are a way to summarize complex ideas into a concrete symbol or ideogram. For instance, this kanji means tree. You can recognize the shape of a tree in a few brush strokes and lines. And the most interesting thing about kanji is the easiness with which they convey meaning. If this kanji means tree, then this one means forest. William Blake, the British poet and engraver behind the poem, did something similar when he described the fearful symmetry of the tiger in his poem. If you see the lines and stripes of a tiger's head, you instantly recognize the animal, in the same way that an arachnophobic person would relate the geometrical disposition of a spider's leg with the rejection they feel towards the animal. It is an ancient feeling hidden deep inside our collective conscience that manifests in its most basic rudiments so that we all can share it and understand the sensation it produces. This fearful geometry is so powerful that still nowadays is used in clever designs to transmit this same sensation described by Blake. Talking about Blake, it is curious that we are, once more, before one of these cases, as it could be the brilliant Vincent van Gogh, in which a person didn't receive enough recognition in life for the great vision they have about a certain matter. Of course, it is quite difficult to make the others see a pioneering view of things when you are the only one capable of seeing in this way, and the rest are still not ready to understand you. The allegory of the cave by the Greek philosopher, once more, was sadly right. A few lines are insufficient to describe the great genius embodied in the figure of William Blake. But just to make him a little justice, let us celebrate his great talent as a craftsman and engraver and his sensibility as a poet. Because it is when we combine both skills when we find the true nature of his genius. For his engravings and illustrations were an intrinsic part of his poems, in the same way his poems were intimately related to his illustrations. His contribution is so big that he is one of the influences for the creation of our nowadays comics and graphic novels. And a proof of that are his groundbreaking illustrations for Milton's poem Paradise Lost. The depiction of the tiger, awaiting among the branches and fallen leaves of the forest, staring at its prey, has survived in our minds many years after the death of its author. Blake created an icon that other writers, as Rudyard Kipling in his Jungle Book, helped to immortalize with Shere Khan, the fire and the fear. But this is only a shy and incomplete gaze, a brief approach, a personal and concise love letter to highlight some aspects of the great genius that was the British poet that went by the name of William Blake. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour.